Hi Tom, well done on the fish you've just netted.
Thank you very much.
So tell us a little bit about how the beat has fished last week.
So last week we had a better back half of the week to the front half of the week. We had a bit of water that came down on Monday night that just upset things a little bit. Like kind of the fish were still there, we're still seeing them, but they weren't freely taken. But as the week went on, we got into the fish and yeah, did really well. We ended up with 13 salmon and a sea trout, and a few more lost. And yeah, no, it's brilliant.
You've actually had a particularly good season, haven't you?
We've benefited from the water being high enough but not too high, and low enough but not too low. So we like a bit of water in the river. We don't like it too low because the fish stack up down the bottom end a little bit more. And we've just been very lucky that every time things have got a little bit low, we've had 6 inches of water, 7 inches of water that has refreshed the water, has gave a bit more impetus to the fish running up from the bottom. And it's just suited us. We've done phenomenally well. We're nearly 90 fish for the year, salmon. And yeah, it's about as good a summer as we could ever hope for. And
you've had pods of fish entering your beat on a Monday, and they've sort of stayed with you till the end of the week, haven't they?
100%. As I say, we've just been really lucky. I mean, you got to ride the crest of the wave when you can, and yeah, we've just been very fortunate. I mean, I think it's pretty widely known that fresh fish are usually pretty good takers. So if you keep getting these little pulses of fish in small numbers, every day you're going through the same pools, but with fresh optimism, and it's paid dividend, and we've been very lucky, yeah.
And the other week you actually, was it a Saturday when you had, you were informed that there's a pod of fish coming up and your rods came out to fish?
Yeah, I mean, that was the most extraordinary day. I mean, very rarely do we see pods of running fish coming up the beat, as in seeing them 500 yards away, 200 yards away, 100 yards away, boom, kind of into a fish. But that's pretty much what happened. We got a phone call from the beat below saying, look, we've seen so many fish, like the fish are piling through. We were actually sat at the coffee table having a bit of a break, which led us all to basically rush back into the river and fish. And as the fish came up, the fisher at the bottom of the beat, kind of the pools we were fishing, he caught a fish. 10 minutes later, the other guy caught a fish, and then we were following basically this run of fish, these splashing fish swimming through the beat. We went up to the top, and then the third man caught a fish. So all three guys each caught a fish within a space of half an hour, and then 20 minutes later we didn't see a fish for a couple of hours. Like literally they'd been and gone and swam through, which is, I mean, pretty unique, but it's phenomenal. Really, really good.
And the flies that people have been catching fish on, we were talking about black and yellows earlier, weren't we?
We were. I mean, Tweed, black and yellow, there's something with it. Like, I mean, it's always a good combination, but like we've been catching fish on all sorts. I mean, sometimes you'll catch them on the sunray, kind of if the conditions prevail and whatever. Little Francises kind of move through the slower water. Sometimes as simple as a little stoat's tail. I mean, I think the feeling is that if you've got fresh fish, they're pretty eager to take anything. I think it's the size and the depth that really kind of comes to fruition. And once you get that size and depth right, kind of they'll take almost anything. But your standard cascades, black and yellows, Francises, pretty much the whole lot, and you just go through the box trying different things until they work.
And what sizes?
To be honest, we've been fishing on mainly little cone heads and little bottle tubes. I think the extra little weight you get on those kind of flies, it drops into the water, it starts fishing straight away. So yeah, so probably these like kind of little micro cone heads, micro tubes is pretty much what's done the damage this last 2 months.
And this week, well, I've just seen you net a fish for a gentleman. How big was that fish?
Yeah, that is 6 pound, like fresh off the tide,
yeah.
Absolutely stunning. Looked like a little tuna. It was a cracking little fish, and we've seen a few fish showing in there today. We've had a bit of bad luck this morning. We had a couple on that didn't, obviously a bit photo shy. Didn't want the pictures taken and got off a little bit early, but yeah, we this afternoon managed to get one, and hopefully one of the guys will get another one. But yeah, that was on it's a little yellow alley shrimp kind of fly. We've kind of gone back onto black and yellows, and it's a fly that worked yesterday for the same chap, pretty much the same time of day as well. So yeah, it's tremendous.
And it went back really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he played it well. We kept it in the water. Kind of taking the fly out of the fish's mouth was very straightforward. And the key in the whole lot is when you're getting a fish and you want it to go back, you want to take a quick picture. You don't want to dawdle too much. You don't want to keep it on the bank kind of at all. So keeping it in the water, keeping it as less stressed as you can, and it makes for a quick release and a good release. So you give the fish every opportunity to go back into its lie safely and to go and continue up the river and do its thing.
How can you get a rod on this beat? Because it is a lovely beat.
Yeah, so we have two methods of letting fish in. We use Mark Merrison. Kind of he does a lot of letting for us, and if we've got spare days, they tend to go on FishPal, so you can find them on the FishPal website, see our availability. It usually kind of goes on as minimum 3 rods 3 days at the start of the year, basically to try and keep the options open for bigger parties. And then as we get closer to the time, the restrictions get lifted, and single rod days are plentifully available throughout the year at different times. Just got to keep a look on the website.
And thank you, Tom, for your weekly fishing report. It is brilliant, so thank you so much.
You're very welcome.